Tekashi. Oh, it's the greatest of all time.
Oh,
there you go. It's the greatest of all time. And if you hate on Tekashi,
I was hoping you didn't read.
If you hate on Tekashi, you're crazy. Somebody make the argument. Somebody make the argument against Tekashi. I don't understand it.
I don't either.
Make an argument against Tekashi.
I don't think he's gonna last as long as you do. But he's
no. I'm not talking about how long he lasts. But they fuck your baby mama, right? They kidnap you. They beat you up. They try to kill you, or they say they're gonna kill you, and they fuck with your mom, and you're supposed to be loyal to them.
No,
that's not the full story.
What's the full story?
No, I'm saying we don't know the full story. There's no way that he was rolling with these guys and all of a sudden they all turned on him like that.
I mean, he got rich and they didn't, right?
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. You're supposed to take care of your people. If your people are rolling with you, you're supposed to take care of them.
You think he didn't take care of them and that's why they...
There's no reason to steal from your dude if you're being taken care of.
I disagree. I think you want that bowl to keep rolling. I think when you hire thieves, they do thieving shit. Like, these motherfuckers steal if you're part of a gang, right, that is selling drugs and like involved in illegal activity, you don't know how to turn that off. It's not like, or very few people know how to turn that off. So it's like, it's not like all of a sudden when you're making money, oh, we're going to go legit. I'm going to accept my, 5% that Tekashi gives me, or I'm going to do that. No, they're like, hold up. I could get a lick over here. Okay, we got $1 million coming in. Okay, I could actually scrape a few little bit off of this. Like, I could do this show for 80 grand. Okay, if I cut this deal on the side, I'll give him the 60 and I'll keep 20. I think they're trying to get money from them all over the place.
That I can understand, like just trying to skim shit off the top, which is still fucked up. But I'm talking about the kidnapping moms and shit like that. That is, hey, I'm getting you back for some shit.
Okay, so let's back up. I think they broke the trust first by trying to steal. And I think that came out a while back. Remember when like he was supposed to do some show and then he canceled a bunch of dates? He's like, because motherfuckers were stealing from me.
Oh, yeah. Because I believe he was told he was only going to make like 14,000 or a show, but really he was making like 22 or some shit like that. So they would just
even more.
They told him a different number than what
and
he was
that's
actually
getting paid.
And
not
that's
his
people.
like, not his.
So then he just cut them all off like cold turkey.
As you should.
Yeah, but then if you gonna stop my money, now they're gonna.
But that's not his fault. If that's how it happened. What I was thinking maybe could have happened is like, he's throwing all his money around and maybe they think he's got it like that, but he doesn't.
Right.
Maybe he's flexing for more than just $1,000. Maybe they buy into it and he doesn't have that money. And then they're looking at him like, why is he not taking care of us? You so fucking rich. We're sitting here with nothing or whatever. Fuck you.
And I don't think it's all about the money.
But if that is the case, if you're getting $30,000 a show and somebody says, hey, you're getting paid 20 and then they take 10 off the top, fuck you. You're not getting me the shows. I highly doubt his gang member friends are getting him a fucking gig in Del whatever in California.
The money's one element. The other element is that, hey, he wasn't blood initially. He got with this gang and like then he started repping Treyway and they were his muscle. And so they're the ones taking the risks, like shooting at fucking rappers and beating people up and robbing motherfuckers. But he's making those calls. Like we saw him on the TMZ tape, like saying, yo, go send some shots at it or whatever. So it's like.
Isn't that how all of it works?
Yeah, but I'm saying if you're one of the generals and you're making the orders, it's like, nah, you with the gang too. So now if the whole gang got caught up in the RICO, you got to go down with the gang as well. You can't
Can you explain
snitch.
RICO to people real quick?
What's the RICO?
Oh, that's, it's, I don't know what it stands for, but it's basically just a law that the federal government came up with to take down gangs.
Giuliani actually found it, and that's how he broke the mafia. It's pretty incredible.
Racketeering, influenced, and corruption organizations.
Yeah. So it's like, if we can prove, we don't have to catch you making, like, actually doing the crime, but if we can prove you roll with the gang that did that crime, you all go down.
So this is the thing. How the mafia was really brilliant in the way they insulated the top dogs. Mm-hmm. So there was no way to really get to the top dogs. Mm-hmm. So they had to create some law where they could punish someone who was associated for it. And I think there's RICO, and then there's another one called like a conspiracy to commit crime or whatever like that. So it's like, if there's a phone call about the crime that's going to be committed, even if you don't commit it, you're tied into it.
Yeah.
So these were laws basically made to break the Dons because the Dons were completely insulated from any bad shit was happening. And then they start to use them on like, the drug gangs and that kind of shit like that. And it's worked. I mean, they got the whole fucking Bobby Shmurda, right? Like all of them, they got on RICO, right? So I guess with the 6ix9ine shit, it's tricky because you don't know which came first, the chicken or the egg, right? My assumption is is probably a little bit of both, right? It's like a little bit of envy, like what Akaash was saying, right? And maybe they weren't being paid as much as they thought they should be. And to be honest, they're not managers.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
they're muscle.
They're muscle, but also they're the validating component in your career. If you're going to be thug guy, you need this gang to be thug guy, not only to protect you, but to prove that you are blood when you say you're blood. Mm-hmm. So they have every right, in my opinion, to have a negotiation with Tekashi and be like, listen, Tekashi, you're like a short, fat Mexican kid without us. What value do we bring to you? And if he says 5%, then they could be like, nah. If he says 10%, they could be like, nah. It could be 50-50. You don't know. Mm-hmm. They have to decide what that's worth. Tekashi's clearly the criminal mastermind, or just genius, not even criminal. Like, he found a way to make a career for himself. It was like fucking brilliant what he did.
Yeah.
So they have to go, okay, maybe I'll take, you know what? Maybe I'll take 1% of career earnings of this guy who might make $100 million in his career. That's pretty nice. They have to have the foresight to look at that. And I think what happens is when you're a guy who for a living gets money quick, when you're a guy who's like, fuck, I need to pay rent, I'm gonna go rob a motherfucker. When you just think about money now, it's hard to think about money in the future. And I think they made a fucked up situation. I think they stole, or I think they did some like little foul shit with his baby mama. I think he cut him off. And then from there on, then the other stuff happens. But I think they started it. Tekashi has no incentive to start it. Think about it. He knows he needs muscle. He knows he needs protection. Why would he fuck those guys over?
I mean, let's say if those guys think, hey, I'm supposed to be getting a percentage of the earnings, but Tekashi hasn't really adjusted my payment, but all of a sudden we see him copping houses, whips, like the money's rolling in, but for some reason it's not rolling in for them. Mm-hmm. You can grow resentment. And especially, this is not really my dude. It's not my friend. It's just somebody who attached himself to me.
It's a business relationship.
Yeah. So it's like, nah, like I can just see resentment growing.
You also can't
I can see wrongs on both sides, but at the end of the day, if you're doing criminal activity together, you go down together because you're doing it together.
It's if the way you're
real quick to that though, is that's the tricky thing about if you're doing criminal activity together, you go down together, and why that doesn't work. And Tekashi spoke about this in his live, is that he's like, what assurances do I have if I didn't rat that they wouldn't kill me in jail? They were trying to kill me outside of jail. You don't think they're going to send someone at me in prison to kill me? Of course they are. So what incentive do I have to not rat?
So with Bobby Shmurda, for example,
that makes sense though, right?
Bobby Shmurda could have took a deal to rat on his dudes, not do any jail time, and they would have got a lot more time.
But the difference is those are his dudes. And the way you're saying it, it's a business agreement. But I would also say to this, if you're going to get in business with thug motherfuckers, know that if things go awry, they're going to handle things the way they know how.
That's a fact.
Mm-hmm. But you knew what you were getting into.
Mm-hmm. But the difference between the Shmurda and the Tekashi situation is Shmurda and his boys were on the same page. Shmurda's boys weren't trying to kill Shmurda and fuck his girl and do all this foul shit to Shmurda, right?
That's what I'm saying. Like, I see both sides. I see reasons on both sides. But
how long was Tekashi in jail?
I think a year, I believe. He was supposed to do 2.
He was in jail more than a year, right?
Well, 1 year, I think, waiting for trial. And then it was supposed to be, like, the sentence was 2 years. So he did 1 year waiting for trial. So they count that time.
Right.
And then I think he did like 6 months. He got out early.
And then he got out a little early.
Corona
but
shit.
My feeling is like, if they couldn't prove anything on any of them, he has no reason to snitch.
Nah, I'm pretty sure they had enough, because once the feds come, feds usually don't lock people up until they have a case.
Yeah. They got like a 90, what is it, like a
97%
90% conviction rate. Yeah. So
they're
only coming through when they know it's going down. It's just, to me, we talk in absolutes about snitching because it has such a great rhyme with it. Snitches get stitches, this, that, the other. And I understand if you're operating outside the law, you don't have to involve the law. I understand that from a cultural perspective.
And the law ain't necessarily been fair to you. So
that's true.
Why fuck the law? What's the point?
Right.
Fuck you.
Right.
I don't trust you.
But at the same time, I find it very difficult to be loyal and to uphold the code to people who are not loyal to you. I just don't understand that. I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't in a fuck. Are you kidding me? You come at me, you steal from me, you do any of these types of shit, and I'm gonna be loyal? Fuck that.
To that point, we have a comic friend, Rel Battle. He would always have this bit about how like the snitches get stitches shit, like you should never snitch. It's a little crazy. And then the second he would say that, it would get crazy. And then he'd be like, basically the joke was like, if a guy's molesting somebody, I don't remember the punchline, but that's a snitch situation. That's not like, you're not whatever. You're not keeping the fucking code by not reporting somebody who's molesting kids, whatever. Any black audience would get so uncomfortable the whole time. They would just be like, nah. You could feel the resistance from the room. And that always blew my mind. Like even if a dude is fucking kids, you don't snitch on that guy?
You remember when Cameron, he was asked that same question. He's like, nah, I wouldn't snitch. I just move away.
Yeah, I think you think you'll handle it yourselves in the community or whatever.
But I wouldn't snitch, I'm just gonna move.
All right, how about this? Everybody talking this snitches get stitches shit. Question. Everybody with this snitches get snitches shit, whatever snitches get stitches shit, they got no problem posting those two white dudes that killed the Ahmaud Arbery.
No, but see, now that's different. There's civilians and there's civilians and then there's people who are actually doing crime. The snitch is only that rule is only for people that are doing criminal stuff together.
I mean, killing black people for no reason is criminal.
No, I'm talking about a civilian, a regular civilian just telling on some molester, that's fine. Or a regular civilian who's not doing crime telling the police on a drug dealer or some shit like that at the end of their block, that's fine too. Because they're not in the streets. They're not part of that code. It's the ones like if you're involved, like Tekashi was doing these crimes with them. So that's why you don't snitch.
Gotcha. No, that makes sense.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
It only applies to people who are doing criminal activity. Huh. If you're a civilian, you're allowed to snitch all you should.
That's not true because they kill motherfuckers that they think are going to snitch. They'll kill witnesses. They'll do whatever they can to keep themselves alive.
Yeah, but I mean, that's different. That's just, they want to
stay
out of jail.
I hate that shit when they're like, nah, he's a civilian, leave him alone. Until you need to rob somebody. You know what I mean? It seems like you be robbing civilians. That's what I'm saying. The code is flimsy. The code is flip-floppy,
but
right?
Usually, like, I remember when I was in the courts, the biggest robbing cases were like a drug dealer robbing another drug dealer. Because it's like neither one wants to get police involved.
Right.
Both operate with a lot of cash on hand because they can't put shit in banks and shit like that. So that's like the best person to rob.
But you got to be honest, that's a big come up too.
Yeah.
If you're willing to take the risk of robbing a drug dealer, it's like you're not going to just get the $100 that's in his wallet. You could get $10,000 worth of coke. Like that's a big.
Like there's no point in robbing a civilian. Like the most you get some credit cards that they're just going to cancel in 2 seconds.
Yeah, it is a weird thing. It's like honestly, I feel like robbing is kind of stupid.
It's gone down.
It must have, right? Now that it's all credit cards?
Yeah, now that it's all paperless. Shit. What are you getting off this guy? You might get a watch or some shit like that.
But if you came up to me and you're like, and I'm not suggesting this, but you're like, if you said, give me your wallet and then beat me up, or if you just said, yo, man, like, I don't want to fucking shoot you. Can you just give me the cash you got? I just give you the cash.
Yeah.
Like,
I think they also enjoy the beating you up. I think there's
No. I'm just saying hypothetically in the past, you would prefer not getting into an altercation.
So you just ask.
I'd rather have it go smooth.
So how would it go hypothetically?
Nah, it would just be like, yo, empty your pockets. Bang. And if they don't empty it, you empty it for them.
Now, what if we start to like fight and that kind of shit?
I mean, then you fight. And then you keep record of your fights. Nah, but I'm just saying, it's like people don't really rob civilians that much. And now the laws have changed where now it's a felony if you rob anything over, I believe, $800. So just by taking a phone.
So
boom,
this is really
felony.
interesting. So yeah, it's called grand larceny.
Yeah.
I think everything, is it 500 or like 1,000?
I forgot the exact number, but now they've made it so low where it's like basically you take anything off somebody, it's almost a felony.
It's not only that it's so low, it's that we're all of a sudden walking around with things that are way more expensive.
Yeah.
Like it'd be rare to walk around with something that was $1,000 if you're not a rich dude that's got like a nice watch.
Yeah, back in like the 90s, 80s, whatever.
Exactly. But it's super normal that you got your computer or you got your cell phone or you got these things that happen to be worth thousands of dollars. Yeah. So when someone just grabs your backpack, back in the day, someone would grab your North Face backpack or they grab your JanSport or some shit. Now, if you got a laptop in there, you go to fucking prison, bro.
Yeah.
If they press charges.
Yep.
Yeah, man. Maybe it's good.
So now, what if you saw someone that killed like Biggie or Tupac? Like
street will get him.
But they didn't.
I mean, they did though.
All right, good. We solved it, guys. We did it.
Did they get it?
Yeah, the guy who killed Biggie, he's dead.
Really?
Yeah.
They believe that?
Yeah.
And what
like
about?
They're like pretty certain they know who the guy was.
And what about Pac?
I'm pretty sure they think it's either that cop, that undercover cop that was working with what's his face, Suge.
Yeah.
And there was suspect of one other person. I'm not sure, the person he got into a fight with at the casino earlier.
Yeah, that's the one I heard it was.
People.
Stomped the shit out of that guy.
Yeah.
They beat up the dude.
Yeah.
And what about the dude that killed Nipsey? They found him?
Yeah, he got locked up.
He turned himself in.
Oh, really?
But what's up with him? Is he still?
I don't know. Like, I'm pretty sure he's on solitary. Because if he's in general pop, they're going to get to him. So he
turned himself in to protect himself from the
pretty
streets.
much, yeah. Yeah.
Damn, bruh.
Yeah. Streets take care of street
Damn, bro.
justice.
Yo, so a totally separate note. I don't know. Something.